Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acupuncture's My Life. Now, in this episode, I want to discuss certain foods that can help prevent an arthritis flare-up, because I've been noticing an uptick of new patients coming into the Acupuncture's My Life clinic here in New York City and have been diagnosed with some form of arthritis, whether it's osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis. But their biggest concern is, can acupuncture help prevent an arthritis flare-up? Now, yes, it can. But in many cases, I also recommend certain foods that can help prevent it as well. And I more so do this with my online or my virtual consultation sessions, because I get many individuals that'll schedule a virtual consultation session globally, let's say from Japan or somewhere in Africa, Australia, certain parts of Europe, and so forth, like even Canada, South America. And because they can't come into New York City to see me, I'll recommend certain foods. And by the way, if you ever want to schedule a virtual consultation session with me, just simply go to acupuncturesmylife.com and click on the tab to schedule a virtual consultation visit. Now, other than that, there are certain foods that can help prevent flare-ups when it comes to arthritis, which is basically stiff, achy, or swollen joints. And you see, arthritis flare-ups can be painful and in many cases tough to manage. That's why I'm always saying, make acupuncture a part of your life. Now, I understand globally there's many of you that don't have easy access to an acupuncturist, which is why I recommend you go to acupuncturesmylife.com and schedule a virtual consultation session with me to discuss certain symptoms in which you may suffer from, and I may discuss herbs with you or even certain foods that are best for your situation. But for purposes of this podcast, I'll go over some of the foods that I do bring up to some of my patients. I'll recommend to some of my virtual patients that helps, with these flare-ups and managing pain and so forth and so on. But I'll jump right into it. The first is definitely consuming some type of fatty fish or adding fatty fish to your diet. One, fatty fish enriches both chi, which is synonymous with energy, and blood. Now, we also know that inflammation is a major driver of arthritic pain. And this is, again, why I'm bringing up fatty fish, because when there's pain, chi tends to stagnate, blood tends to stagnate, and in some cases, there's pain, and then blood and chi becomes deficient. So you want to enrich chi and blood with fatty fish. And fatty fish, let's say like salmon or even sardines, come into play, because those types of fatty fish contain DHA and EPA, which are long chain omega-3 fatty acids that help fight inflammation. And you see, these types of unique fats are beneficial for managing rheumatoid arthritis. And if you're wondering, how much should you eat? You want to do at least 2 servings of fatty fish a week. Some ask, what if they eat, fatty fish every day? Well, it's good. Because, you're aligning yourself with nature when you eat the foods that nature provides for you, because then you're less likely to overdo it, and the body is designed to discard any excess. Now, there's a difference than taking supplements. What's in supplements, like in bottled vitamins full of starch and things like that, these things have been processed, and it just wasn't created directly by nature. So a lot of times you can overdo it, and then it'll lead to other problems. But at least 2 servings of fatty fish a week, you'd see a huge change. Now, another is leafy greens, such as spinach, kale, lettuce, and so forth, because acupuncturists understands that, for one, leafy greens have an ability to moisten internal dryness. And leafy greens are also an excellent source of vitamin K, which is helpful for bone health, as well as lowering your risk of osteoarthritis. Because leafy greens are very powerful, and individuals that have been eating this since the early stages of life, they're usually 26% less likely to develop osteoarthritis. Because leafy greens are rich in antioxidants, and they also contain certain anti-inflammatory properties as well. And these are things acupuncturists are aware of. Now, another is I recommend various types of nuts, almonds, walnuts, cashews, pistachios, and things of that nature. Because, for one, acupuncturists are aware that nuts have the ability to sedate and calm the nervous system and reduce inflammation. Now, for people with osteoarthritis who are overweight, losing weight through diet and lifestyle changes can play a big part in reducing joint pain and improve how you move. And this is where nuts come into play. Why? Because nuts provide both protein and fiber. All right? And they're great at helping you with weight management. And that's not the only way to help your joints. Now, nuts are also rich in antioxidants that have been shown to protect against inflammation. And nuts make a great snack. Now, along with these foods, if you're fortunate enough to have access to an acupuncturist, or you want to fly into New York City to come to the Acupuncture My Life clinic here in New York City, that's awesome. But I'm saying all this to say acupuncture is great for reducing flare-ups. And I've seen quite a few patients who have been diagnosed with osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis and have been coming in for wellness visits and are barely experiencing flare-ups. And why is that? I'll help you into that. That's because they made acupuncture a part of their life. That's why. And they've come to understand where the wealth actually is. They understand it's not their bank account. It's not some safe in their home or under the doghouse in the backyard. The wealth is in them. That's why they made acupuncture a part of their life. Now, a spice that's great for reducing arthritic flare-ups is turmeric. Now, acupuncturists totally understand that turmeric has anti-inflammatory properties. It's great for relieving pain. and it's great for reducing swelling. And it's an awesome spice. It spices up many different dishes, and it's safe, and it tastes good. So there's really no downside to sprinkling some of it on your food. Okay. And these are things that you learn from seeing an acupuncturist. We would bring it to your attention. Now, another form of food, or other forms of food, are beans and legumes, which plays a part in reducing inflammation and increases the circulation of both qi and blood. Again, qi being synonymous with energy. Now, beans are a central ingredient in many different diet plans that are recommended by the nutritionists. Because beans are great at protecting against arthritic flare-ups. And not only are beans and legumes rich in protein and fiber, but they also possess a long list of anti-inflammatory compounds, where some acupuncturists feel that it may do double duty to protect your joints by fending off inflammation and supporting a healthy body weight. And I know some of you are asking, well, how much in the way of beans and legumes should you eat a week? And I would say safely about 3.5 cups of beans and legumes per week, which equates to about what, half cup daily? Is a good amount. And this would include, let's say, pinto beans, black beans, chickpeas, lentil, red kidney beans. These are good options. Okay. These are great options. But these are just some of many foods in which you can include in your diet that can help prevent and offset arthritic flare-ups. But the best recommendation that I can make to you is to make acupuncture a part of your life, because acupuncture is my life. What's yours?